The day I lost James felt like a chapter out of someone else's life, not mine. We had been together for 3 years, 3 years filled with laughter, shared dreams, and whispered secrets under the stars. I remember how he used to hold my hand, his fingers intertwined with mine as if we were two parts of a whole. Our love story began like any other, with shy smiles and tentative conversations. We met at a local coffee shop, both reaching for the same quirky, oversized mug. Our fingers brushed, and so did our souls. It didn't take long for our casual meetings to turn into long, deep conversations, and from there, into love. We shared everything, from our favorite movies to our deepest fears. He was my rock, always there to lift me up when the world seemed too heavy. We talked about the future often, imagining a small, cozy house with a garden and 2 dogs. I thought we were on the same page, that we wanted the same things. But life, as I soon learned, doesn't always follow the script you write in your head. It was a crisp autumn morning when everything changed. James had been distant for a while, but I chalked it up to work stress. That morning, he sat me down at our little kitchen table, the one where we had shared countless breakfasts and late-night chats. His eyes, once so warm and inviting, were now a pool of sorrow. "Ashley," he began, his voice barely a whisper, "I need to tell you something." The words that followed shattered my world into a million pieces. He was leaving me for someone else, someone he had met recently, someone he claimed he had fallen in love with. The worst part? They were getting married. I remember sitting there, feeling numb. The room spun around me, the walls echoing with the ghost of our laughter, now a haunting reminder of what was lost. The pain was sharp, like a knife twisting in my heart. I had lost the man I thought I would spend my life with, to a future that would never be mine. That day marked the end of an era, the end of us. And as I watched him walk out of our apartment, our life, I realized that this was just the beginning of a long and painful journey of healing and self-discovery. In the days following James's departure, the world seemed to lose its color. My life, once vibrant and full of joy, turned into a monochrome existence. The apartment we shared felt too big, too empty, with echoes of his laughter haunting every corner. I tried to keep busy, to fill the void with work and mindless activities, but the silence was always there, waiting for me at the end of the day. I found myself retracing our memories, walking through the places we used to visit together. The coffee shop where we first met became a sanctuary of sorts, a place where I could immerse myself in the bittersweet memories of our past. The baristas, who once witnessed the beginning of our love story, now offered sympathetic smiles, a silent acknowledgement of my heartache. It was during these long, lonely walks that I began to confront the truth. The signs had been there, subtle hints that I had chosen to ignore. James had been pulling away, his once eager conversations turning into monosyllabic responses. I realized I had been holding on to the image of a man who no longer existed, a relationship that had faded away before my eyes. The hardest part was facing the reality of being alone. For so long, my identity had been intertwined with his. James and Ashley. We were a package deal, a duo that everyone knew and admired. Now, it was just Ashley, a solitary figure trying to find her place in a world that suddenly seemed too big and too daunting. As the weeks turned into months, I slowly began to rebuild myself. I started to explore new hobbies, things I had always wanted to try, but never did. I joined a painting class, finding solace in the strokes of the brush against the canvas. Each painting became a piece of my journey, a testament to my resilience and growth. I also reconnected with old friends, those who I had unintentionally pushed aside during my relationship. They became my support system, offering shoulders to cry on and ears to listen. Through their unwavering support, I discovered the value of true friendship, something that had been missing from my life for too long. In this period of rediscovery, I learned the most about myself. I realized that I was stronger than I had ever given myself credit for. I learned to enjoy my own company, to cherish the moments of solitude that I once feared. I found joy in the little things, a book read in the quiet hours of the night, a solo walk in the park, the simple pleasure of a cup of coffee in the morning. This journey wasn't easy. There were days when I felt like I couldn't go on, when the pain seemed too much to bear. But with each passing day, the pain dulled a little, replaced by a newfound sense of hope and strength. I was not the same person I was before. I was evolving, growing into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. And so, as the second chapter of my post-James life unfolded, I found myself standing at the threshold of a new beginning, ready to face the world with a heart that was slowly healing and a spirit that was learning to soar again. As the seasons changed, so did I. The world, once bleak and colorless, gradually regained its vibrancy. I no longer saw my days through the lens of my past with James. Instead, I began to embrace the present and even look forward to the future. This new chapter wasn't just about healing, it was about transformation and rediscovery. I took up new challenges, pushing myself out of the comfort zone that I had nestled into for so long. I traveled solo for the first time, exploring cities and landscapes I had only ever dreamt of. With each new place I visited, I left behind a piece of my old self, the one that was too scared to venture out alone, and in return, I collected new experiences, new perspectives. These journeys weren't just physical, they were deeply spiritual and emotional. I learned to listen to my inner voice, a voice that had been drowned out in the cacophony of my previous life. I wrote a journal, documenting my thoughts, fears, and hopes. This journal became a trusted friend, a safe space where I could express myself without judgment or fear. In the midst of my transformation, I also found a new passion: volunteering. I dedicated my time to causes close to my heart, finding immense satisfaction in helping others. This work brought a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I hadn't known before. It connected me to incredible people, each with their own stories of struggle and resilience, which in turn inspired me further. As I poured my energy into these new pursuits, I noticed a shift in my perspective on love and relationships. The bitterness and sorrow that once clouded my heart began to dissipate, replaced by a sense of peace and forgiveness. I realized that holding on to anger and regret would only anchor me to the past, and I wanted to move forward. This didn't mean I forgot about James or our time together. It simply meant that I accepted it as a part of my story, not the defining chapter. I learned to cherish the good memories, while acknowledging that our ending was a necessary part of my growth. Perhaps the most surprising development was the rekindling of an old friendship, which slowly blossomed into something more. With Matthew, an old college friend, I discovered a different kind of love, one built on mutual respect, deep understanding, and shared experiences. It was refreshing and new, yet comfortably familiar. As I reflect on this journey, I realize that life is a tapestry of experiences, each thread representing a person, a memory, a lesson learned. The tapestry of my life, once torn and frayed, was now being woven anew with brighter colors and stronger threads. And so, in this newfound harmony, I found not just recovery, but rebirth. I wasn't the same Ashley that I was before. I was better, stronger, and more complete. I had found joy not in another person, but in myself and the life I had courageously rebuilt. My story, once marked by heartbreak, had transformed into a narrative of resilience, hope, and new beginnings.